Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Starting in the name of Allah, the most beneficial and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum. I am Mobina Mohammad Ali, here to present you the topic on imperialism and its beginning. In this topic, we shall discuss what colonialism and imperialism are, the basic differences between them, what caused them to happen, and some of the examples which led to these events. Colonialism and imperialism. Colonialism is defined as the practice of acquiring full or partial control over another country and occupying it with settlers. Whereas imperialism is the idea driving the policy of colonialization and puts it into practice. And it can be done through military force or any other means. Let's discuss some of the major differences between colonialization and imperialism. Colonialization is the practice where one nation assumes control over another. It conquers and reigns over their territory for their benefit. These people move to these lands and they take permanent settlement. And this practice took place from the 15th century, from 1500 to 1800. Some of the major examples include India, Australia, Brazil, North America, New Zealand, and British East India Company. Imperialism is defined as the idea driving the practice for colonialization. Its purpose is to create an empire to expand its territory and its dominance. It exercises power over the other nations through indirect means. It dates back to the Romans, and its major examples include the scramble of Africa, the American domination of Puerto Rico and Philippines. The age of imperialism actually started from 1870 till 1914. The term age of imperialism was given because some nations that became really aggressive to take over other independent weaker continents. So it began from around 1870, where modern relatively developed nations were taking control over less developed areas, colonizing them or influencing them in order to expand their own power. Some of the major countries which started this practice were United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and United States from the mid 18th to the early 20th centuries. Major events contributing to this practice are associated with the scramble of Africa, British imperialism in India, and Chinese imperialism. Let's discuss some of the major causes. What caused imperialism? Imperialism was caused due to four major causes, one of them being economic interest. So these popular nations were growing and they needed space for their population. So they wanted to take over other lands and expand their markets for trading. The merchants were very interested in trading and they wanted to accumulate wealth through these means. They also wanted to obtain natural resources. Another main reason being that for political and military interests, they needed bases for their merchant ships and naval vessels around the world. The Western readers were very much inspired by nationalism and they wanted to let the others know about the pride and prestige of their country. They also needed national security, hence why they started the concept of imperialism. The social causes include their desire to express their religion, which was Christianity, and to let the other nations know about more about their Western civilization. They believed in racial superiority and believed that they were actually above everyone else due to their advanced technological and technology and weaponry. They believed in, according to Charles Darwin's theory of social Darwinism, which states survival of the fittest. They believed that they were not in the wrong to take over these other countries, and they believed that these countries needed help in order to advance. For technological causes, they wanted to expand their network of communication throughout the world, and they also wanted to let others benefit from their medical knowledge. Another main motive was to instill intimidation and fear among the people, so no one can challenge their sovereignty by the means of weaponry or overseas travel, making conquest by force, etc. All these things. The period of imperialism is actually divided into two parts. Two periods being Old Imperialism and New Imperialism. Old Imperialism started from 1500 to 1800s. Its main essence was trading. European nations established trading centers throughout the world in order to trade with local Indian leaders. They from whom they traded materials with another local European people to accumulate wealth and promote trading. One of the major examples includes British East India Company. This company worked over company rule and was a private profit-seeking company. It was given full power by the British to act as their representatives and rule the areas of India however they see fit. And people actually rebelled back against this, but they officially won the battle in the Battle of Plassey in 1757, and they began trading India's many resources such like silk, opium, tea, and many other resources. New imperialism actually started from 1870 and continued till 1914. This idea involved direct conquest or formal empire. They were driven by their desire for money and domination. They were much less cooperative, unlike the old imperialism. And its main examples include Scramble of Africa and imperialism in China, where they traded opium to Chinese people through India, and they took over the country that way. The Scramble of Africa, which is the major example of imperialism, is what actually happened in this event was that in the 1870s, the Bengals were the first ones to establish trade in the region of Congo with Africans. When Europeans came to know about it, they rushed to Africa in order to obtain those raw materials in 1884 till 1885. 13 European countries and the United States met in Berlin in order to discuss the rules of African colonialization. From 1884 till 1914, the African continent faced many conflicts as these European forces took control over the territory and power from these African states. The Europeans called Africa the Dark Continent because they did not know much about it, but this actually caused people to misunderstand, and they began to think that it was because the people there were uncivilized, brutal, and harsh. Britain and France were the two countries that emerged as the significant victors, as they won majority of the states of Africa. The African people actually rebelled very hard, and they fought for their national identity and their security, but unfortunately they did not have the advanced means of technological equipment or weaponry to defend themselves better. Hence, by 1914, only two states of Africa were left independent, which were Liberia and Ethiopia. Lastly, I've quoted by D. Coates. There's a famous saying by D. Coates which I like very much. It states that ultimately empires are only possible because of the weakness of others, and as that balance of power shifts over time, empires that once looked impregnable find their way only forward from the peak of their power is actually down. With this, I would like to conclude my topic that do not just because a country is weaker than you, do not let your ego take over you and assume cruelty over other people, because one day you could be the weaker one and somebody else is gonna do the same to you. So be kind to everyone and do not participate in such harsh activities. I hope you liked my presentation. Thank you for watching it this far. Until we meet again next time. Bye.